The Iraqi army was annihilated in just 100 hours of ground combat. Why did Saddam Hussein, the dominant power in the Middle East, suffer a defeat rarely seen in world history? The coalition forces launched over 100,000 airstrikes daily, leading to hundreds of thousands of Iraqi soldiers killed or captured. In just 43 days of intense combat, Hussein's dream of Middle Eastern dominance was shattered. Behind this crushing defeat lay structural causes that recur even today: the hubris of absolute power, distorted information, and a misreading of international affairs. This video will uncover how Hussein repeatedly miscalculated, what he failed to understand, and what lessons his failures hold for modern leadership. Now, let's delve into the full story of how an absolute ruler embarked on a path to ruin. The main feature also provides a detailed explanation of the United Nations' actions. In 1988, the Iran-Iraq War concluded. After 8 years of brutal, drawn-out conflict, Iraq, under Saddam Hussein's leadership, stood as a dominant military power in the Middle East. At the time, the Iraqi army boasted the fourth-largest military force in the world and state-of-the-art weaponry, projecting an overwhelming presence, earning it the moniker Shield of the Arabs. Hussein received fervent support from parts of the Arab world, not just for defending against Iran, but as a leader who would personally safeguard the stability of the entire Middle East. Blessed with abundant oil resources, Iraq was an influential nation in the international community, and Hussein was convinced that his country was the absolute leader in the region. Following the end of the Iran-Iraq War, Iraq was burdened with immense war debt, and its finances were dire. To overcome this predicament, Hussein set his sights on neighboring Kuwait. Hussein accused Kuwait of unfairly lowering oil prices and impeding Iraq's economic reconstruction. Furthermore, he began asserting historical claims to the territory. On August 2, 1990, Iraq launched a lightning invasion of Kuwait. Within hours, it had seized control of the entire country, including the capital, Kuwait City. With this, Hussein gained vast oil resources and a strategic stronghold in the Persian Gulf. The Arab world plunged into chaos, and the international community's response seemed slow. Hussein believed that the United States would either tacitly approve of Iraq's actions or limit its response. Past American actions further fueled his miscalculation. However, the world's attention was not what Hussein expected. The UN Security Council immediately condemned Iraq's invasion of Kuwait. The very next day, Resolution 660 was adopted, demanding Iraq's immediate and unconditional withdrawal. This was the first major sign of Hussein's miscalculation. Furthermore, US President Bush decided to deploy troops to Saudi Arabia. This marked the beginning of Operation Desert Shield, and Hussein gravely underestimated the gravity of the situation. In addition to economic sanctions, the UN approved the formation of a multinational coalition. At this stage, Hussein still did not believe the international community would genuinely resort to military force. He anticipated divisions within the international community and was overconfident in his strategic superiority. This was a hubris born from his experiences in the Iran-Iraq War. But here, a pitfall no one noticed had opened. There was no one around Hussein to tell him the truth. Hussein wielded absolute power, and his close aides feared reporting information that went against his will. Groupthink prevented accurate situational assessment. The coalition's air power was far more advanced and sophisticated than the Iraqi military imagined. Iraq's air defense systems at the time were outdated. Hussein called for a fight to the death, dubbing it the mother of all battles. But morale was low, and the Iraqi military's training was no match for the coalition forces. As the UN ultimatum loomed, Hussein took actions that further provoked the international community, such as hinting at hostage-taking and the use of chemical weapons. Any room for negotiation was lost, and the path to military action became certain. Having already committed vast resources, Hussein had fallen victim to the Concorde effect, unable to turn back. On January 17, 1991, the coalition forces launched Operation Desert Storm. As dawn broke, overwhelming airstrikes pounded all of Iraq. State-of-the-art stealth aircraft and cruise missiles precisely destroyed Iraq's air defenses, command centers, and communication networks. The Iraqi military was rendered blind and deaf. Days of continuous airstrikes inflicted catastrophic damage on Iraq's ground forces. Hussein's boasted military might was exposed as utterly powerless against modern warfare. On February 24th, the coalition ground forces began their advance into Kuwait and southern Iraq. This ground offensive concluded in just 100 hours. The Iraqi army attempted organized resistance, but it was helpless against the coalition's overwhelming firepower and mobility, leading many soldiers to surrender. Iraqi forces attempting to retreat from Kuwait followed a tragic path known as the Highway of Death. Thousands of vehicles were destroyed, and countless soldiers lost their lives. On February 28th, President Bush declared the liberation of Kuwait and a halt to the ground war. Hussein's miscalculations brought catastrophic defeat and immense devastation to Iraq. The Gulf War demonstrated the peril of an absolute ruler misreading international affairs and distorting information, ultimately leading a nation to ruin. Hussein's miscalculations, born from overconfidence in his military and underestimation of international unity, serve as a warning to modern leadership. The Gulf War stands as a historical lesson, highlighting anew the importance of rapid decision-making in an information society and the crucial role of multilateral cooperation. How did Hussein repeatedly miscalculate? It was due to the isolation of information inherent in absolute power and a severe misreading of international dynamics. What did he misjudge? He underestimated the overwhelming military might of the coalition, particularly its air power, and failed to believe in the unity of the international community. What is the lesson for today? Those in power must ensure diverse information flow and humbly accept global realities. Otherwise, mistakes will be repeated. The quality of decision-making differs between those who understand this failure and those who do not. The lessons of history serve as a compass for building the future. If you found this video informative, please subscribe and hit the like button. We release a new history of failure every day.
この失敗は歴史のほんの1ページ。世界にはまだ語られていない失敗が数多くあります。失敗の歴史をチャンネル登録して次の物語もぜひご覧ください。